First, I just want to say thank you guys for taking time out of your day to do this interview. We greatly appreciate it. On behalf of our community, we just want to say you rock. First, let's go ahead and start off by if everyone would like to introduce themselves, and you have to say one random weird fact about yourself.
Pretty easy.
Let's start over there.
My name is Jake. I sing and play guitar for the Kissing Club. And random weird fact.
Really weird, though nobody else knows about.
Really weird. I don't like wearing shoes.
The heck, you?
Yeah, all right.
I think that's all of it.
I play the drums. I like to wake up really early in the morning.
Anything that you do, or just wake up early?
I wake up a lot earlier than everyone else.
He wakes everyone else up.
I'm Adam, I play the bass. I've never successfully owned a plant that I didn't kill.
That's an amazing thing.
Me either.
That's
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good one. I'm Anna. I play guitar and sing backup for the music club. Random fact. I had my appendix removed in India.
Cool. Wow.
That's a
cool.
party.
That's a party.
Next question. What are your guitar influences? Who like or drum? Any major influences?
Well,
Musicians?
I mean, when I started learning guitar, I learned a lot of like Jimi Hendrix and that sort of thing. But then also a bunch of like heavy metal, and then as I sort of developed like Pixies and John Frusciante and Radiohead, with like pretty conventional stuff, and you just make what you can with it, you know?
I started learning a lot of. I never really learned how to play the drums. I learned how to play music in terms of my favorite musicians, which were actually like John Frusciante and Radiohead, and then I started learning how to play the drums in terms of like soundtrack. I listened to a lot. I watched a lot of movies and listened to a lot of soundtracks.
Is this too loud for you?
This is gonna interfere.
Anyway, I listened to a lot of soundtracks, and I learned how to play the drums, and I got my influences from soundtracks, basically.
Yeah, I also don't think that the biggest influences on my bass playing are bass players, but I think it's kind of interesting to think about what bass players might have influenced me the most. So I guess in terms of my favorite bass players, definitely Paul McCartney and Charles Mingus and Peter Butler from Black Sabbath. All bass players, I think, that have something to do with the way that I play the bass.
Shit, that's a really hard question, actually. I also started playing Jimi Hendrix stuff like, when I was first learning. Like, had that book and
Yeah, dude, me too.
Yeah,
With the CD?
Yes!
Yeah!
I still have that. I just refound actually, and I was like, I should go back and like do
Yeah.
that. That was really fun. I think, yeah, that was a huge influence. I think on in some respects. That's so hard. I feel like also it's less guitar players than it is music. Well, I don't know. The artist that I would say now more so is Kaki King. I think she's influenced me a lot. She's a good friend, and she is phenomenal, and I've learned a lot just watching her play. But God, that's hard though. I'll settle with those two, but thinking more. Yeah.
Cool. What about a time period of music that really inspired you, or that if you could go back in time, you'd want to play?
We'll just go, yeah. We'll just
Rockabilly, ragtime, big fun.
Well,
Ragtime, God, that's pretty awesome.
yeah, I guess like older blues, like kind of pre-Chicago blues. I have a whole bunch bunch of blues tapes that I inherited and listened to a lot before the tape player in the minivan broke. And my dad used to play in a rockabilly band, so that's kind of that, and like free jazz too. I think that's that, like free jazz and the kind of Sonic Youth era, no wave, seems like a really interesting scene to have been a part of.
I don't really listen to too many like bands and CDs and stuff. I watch a lot of movies, and so a lot of the stuff I play has to do with like moods and like parts in movies or parts on soundtracks that I listen to. Even just like in everyday life, I like to interpret what's going on in everyday life, turn it into heartbeat.
Yeah, that's a really difficult question. It's hard for me to come up with a very sort of like well-defined time period, like historical time period, that really influences how I play. I've been thinking a lot about the late 50s to the mid 60s recently, because I just wrote this thesis about sort of the development of the idea of folk music and the way that that technology was involved in creating the genre of folk music. So that's sort of a period that I've been thinking about a lot, but it has a lot less to do with the music itself than sort of the like the categorization of the music. So I guess like that's a period of time that I've been thinking about a lot, but I don't know if it has that much to do with my playing, but it's pretty interesting to me.
Any, like,
I think we all kind of
like
influence each other.
Yeah.
Like when we're playing like live, it happens live. Like I think we influence each other live, and then it ends,
Yeah.
and then the next night we influence each other again with a different thing.
I don't know, when you said ragtime though, I was like, yeah! And like just secretly like want to see myself like smoking a big like cigar and like an old CD bar, like playing ragtime in the background. Like speakeasy or something. I think that would be kind of rad. I don't know, actually being in New Orleans made me think about a whole bunch of musical time periods like that. And spaces that music happened in a way that it didn't happen elsewhere, like New Orleans, where it's like everything is breathing music. But I like to throw back to that time period, when everything really is just like breathing music.
I think it's interesting too, like because of the way we interact with like acquiring music now, that like when you get into a time period of music or like a specific school of it, it's almost in this kind of academic way where you like find someone, you find someone else who they played with, you find someone else, rather than like it being the only music that you have access to, you know?
Yeah.
So like we can engage with it in this very kind of intentional way that wasn't maybe a possibility like 30 years ago.
That's kind of the age of the iPod. Like you can listen to something like very like personally. I can listen to like Jewel, and then in like the next minute I can listen to like Kanye West, or I can listen to like Wolves in the Throne Room, and I can be like happy with what I've learned in the last like 17 minutes.
Yeah.
They're all very different. So like,
If you could perform a collaboration with any artist, who would you?
Let's start from this side.
That's so hard because I feel like if I say anything, it's like it's like knock on wood or like I'll jinx it. I guess that's what I'm doing. But God, that's such a good question. I mean, this is probably one of my like musical dreams, and collaborating with these guys. This is actually pretty spectacular. I'd say this is actually really far up there as far as like people that I would want to collaborate with. I don't know. I just saw that Bon Iver is playing here like in September. I mean,
that's pretty lofty.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm going for the goal here. No, I mean, I can't imagine what that would be like. But if we're like playing the fantasy football of like musical dreams, I could put that up there. But I don't know. I couldn't think of that one. Yeah. One of these guys are pretty tops right now. I'll think about it. Come back.
Yeah, you won't hurt our feelings. Someone that comes to mind, I don't think I would sort of really be worthy of collaborating with him, but I think it would be really cool to collaborate with Bill Evans, the jazz pianist Bill Evans, because his melodic sense is so strange, and the chords that he makes are so strange that sometimes when I'm listening to it, I sort of hear certain kinds of bass movement that I would sort of like to add that would like sort of color the chords differently. So yeah, that's something that comes to mind. I really like him a lot. If I ever got the chance, I would definitely like turn it down because like
you'd be too nervous.
Yeah,
right. I have a similar answer.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I have recently been introduced to an artist called Scott Walker. That if someone were to ask me if I wanted to collaborate with him, I'd probably say no, even though I wanted to. Only because it's very intimidating, but his music is really, it's like above everyone else's kind of music. It's not one type of music. It's a certain like understanding of perspective, you know. So that's an influence in itself, I guess. I don't remember what the question was. I'm sorry. I like his music a lot, so that's an influence, and I would be afraid to play music with him. That's
No
the answer.
collaborations.
Yeah, but it would be exciting. So that's
I guess I'm gonna win on the pretentious answer here. I would say, if I could, Shostakovich and Modest Mussorgsky. Yeah, what's up, Russian composers? Because they did like this very interesting kind of playing with tonality, like it's like harmonically conventional, but there especially with Shostakovich, there's these kind of out-sounding notes, and I really enjoy that tension. But I would obviously never dream of saying like, "Hey guys, let me play some electric guitar on your fucking symphony here." You know?
check me out, dude. I'll be on Saturday night.
We're playing at the bar. And I think songwriting, probably Paul Simon. That's someone who writes really meticulous, like well-crafted songs. You know,
It's like effortless too.
yeah,
It's pretty effortless.
but like it'll take like a year to write a song. You know,
Yeah.
like it sounds effortless, but it's so like I feel like he's someone who really, like, he and Leonard Cohen kind of, they never put out a song that's less than fully considered and worked.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you think of one, or go on to the next question?
Dude, I
it's
thought
like-
you said Bon Iver, dude.
I thought you said us.
I think that's it. That was my real answer. But I don't know. I think it's like stuff like, you know, Jake saying about Russian composers. It's like so far outside of my realm of reality, but I can still think about it or dream about it.
Yeah.
So I guess Bon Iver is on that chart of like, I don't know. I mean, there's so many others that once your mind kind of like starts to work in that way of like, oh, what would that be like to collaborate with someone? So I think it's fun. It's a fun project. It's a fun question. But yeah, I'll settle with my answer here. All right.
I like your pink hair. Alright.
Guess what was the hat?
Okay, you guys have all played in multiple bands, and you all play different instruments. I'm sure you all do. Have you ever on stage like accidentally started playing a song from another band, or like a lick, or like a, you know,
That's a pretty weird question.
little bass line, or so y'all have played with some.
Not accidentally. When I was on tour with Mechanical People this past spring, we were touring with our friends in Toy Bombs, and we would go back and forth and like play like a lick or two of each other's songs at the top of the set, just to kind of like poke fun at one another. But you know, yeah. They kind of, I feel like they're all very separate things. Like, you get in a different mindset for each deal, you know? Like, you have a different job in each band.
I've played in a couple other bands before. I played drums. Like, it's not the same as like playing drums in this band and kind of inventing what I can do. And on the drum set and on the percussion and the rhythm, so it doesn't really like overlap. But I often find myself playing like rhythms to like X-Files and stuff.
X-Files is pretty awesome.
That's not enough. I never played in that band.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll be like
Not yet,
I'll be like
maybe that's
playing
a
the drums and I'll like
collaboration.
hear the X-Files music in my head and I'll be like
Oh yeah, man, that guy, Mark Snow, is a fucking
Mark Snow,
brilliant
exactly.
composer.
Mark Snow, yeah.
Wait, how does the theme go again? Oh yeah.
But like it won't have much to do with that. It'll have to do with like certain like melody. Yeah, I was never in Mark Snow's band.
Yeah,
That's a great theme for a television show.
So
It's really good. Like,
It's, yeah.
classy motherfucker.
Okay, what is the best and worst part about being on tour?
There's no worst part.
That's not true.
I was like, I don't know. We had an
The
8-hour
worst part
drive
is that we're
to-
really tired and our van has a flat tire. The best part is everything else.
It's amazing though, like the effort that it takes to get to a show, or like all these long drives that we've had, or like how our AC died for like 3 days in the south, and we were sweating our faces off, like it was awful. But then, like I think the best part is then when you get on stage and everyone starts playing, everything dissolves, everything else is bad.
The best part is everything out of the car. Like once you leave the car, everything is the best part.
Yeah, I don't know. We've had a pretty good time in the car with this place.
Yeah, that's not a bad part, but
But I don't know, there's something really like, I think because we're all really present when we're playing, that there really isn't anything else to think about but that moment and that. I think is the best. At least for me, that's my, I think it's like, that's the release of everything else.
Here's a question for you, Leanne. How is it traveling with a bunch of guys? Girl,
I'm pretty
bunch
much
of
a guy,
guys.
actually, to be honest. I mean,
and I'm kind of a girl,
so, yeah, I think it works out well. We just kind of trade roles. I mean, I feel lucky that all these guys are quite chilling with me in a lot of ways.
What?
I'm kind of like one of the boys, though. At least I feel like one of the boys, which is a lot better than being like the girl that's like tagging along or anything. So,
I think everyone in this band is kind of polite.
I think
There's
Zach
some
has
really
more
nice-
cosmetics products than you do.
That's true.
I mean, he has the better makeup, so then I'm
That's
going to
definitely
sure.
true.
No, it's been really good. It's really nice.
What's the coolest venue you've played, or do you have a dream venue that you'd like to play that competitions?
I guess the coolest one we've done was the Squeaky Lizard in Ocean Springs,
That was
Mississippi.
Squeaky Lizard is awesome.
Do they have like a giant lizard up front?
They
The
kind
band I was
of-
watching after our set was like really influential.
Yeah, that should have been your influence.
Oh, Butcher Babies?
Oh yeah.
They're pretty
Yeah,
good.
that's a
That's
band
like
to
Butcher
check out.
Babies
That's
is
a
like
huge influence.
these-
Everyone
these,
go
like-
out and
Yeah.
do a Butcher
We won't tell you. Just.
Won't regret it.
Yeah.
You know, really good people at the Squeaky Lizard. It was really
Yeah.
fun.
Anybody
That was
have
a
a
good
dream
show.
venue?
What's the question?
Yeah, one of those shows like, what is it, Red Rocks or Coachella, where they play in
Oh
the
my God.
canyon. When you get to like
Where the
play in
gorge
these like
Washington.
natural like cliffs and shit, that's
That would be
pretty cool.
spectacular. Yeah, I like that. Also, what we want to play from like a.
I want to play in front of like 1,000 people. I think that's not a venue. That's
Just
just like,
anywhere.
I think if there's 1,000 people that want to hear like decent music and want to have like a really good time,
All right,
yeah.
let's just go all the way Vatican City. You know?
Yeah. I mean, why not?
St. Peter's.
Okay. If you guys could switch places with any musician for a day,
Beyonce. No. Wait, I just read
Just say
article.
Jay-Z.
What was the question?
Something like
If you
so
could switch
opposite.
places with any musician for a day, who would you pick?
It's hard because so many of the musicians that I like a lot, and I guess that a lot of people like a lot, probably have lives that we wouldn't want to have.
Yeah.
I'm talking,
like,
yeah, musically.
it would
though.
be-
I know who I would do.
Who would you?
He's a composer for a lot of Darren Aronofsky's movies. His name's Clint Mansell. He does he did The Fountain, he did Requiem for a Dream, he did Pi, he did Moon, he did he's done probably 24 or 25 movies. His movies are, the scores for the movies make the movies. The movies would be bad if the music wasn't what they were. So it's being part of something larger than what you are. Yeah.
I really would be curious though to see Beyonce or Lady Gaga live.
Yeah.
But not in a musical way at all. It's more fascinated by whatever happens there.
Yeah, someone like the Backstreet Boys or something. Just something that's
Something so bizarre.
just living
So
on another
removed.
planet.
Yeah, exactly. It has so much less to do with music than
Yeah.
it has to do with
I wouldn't really want to play in one of their shows, but I would love to see the mechanics of the life.
But what if you were in their life, but you were still you, and you could totally, but you were just in
very,
their body?
metaphysical
They would totally
question.
get fired.
Oh my god, that's actually really exciting.
Yeah.
What is it?
If you were still you, but in
In their
their
body.
life.
How much power would you?
There's a brain transplant.
Yeah.
I think it would
Like
be
Face
cool
Off.
to be like Hank Williams for a day, because he was someone that really sort of came at a point where he got to define a genre and sort of really be a pioneer in a certain way, and to sort of know that you're exemplifying this style of music in the way that seems to be the most perfect way to do it.
But he didn't know that though.
No, he wasn't a happy person at
Yeah.
all.
I think that
So being him would have been really
Would have been
detrimental.
me, yeah.
the interesting thing, I would love to switch places with Jelly Roll Morton when he was playing in a brothel in New Orleans, but he probably hated that. He wanted to be the greatest composer in the world and didn't want to play in whorehouses his whole life, So
It's hard to answer that question.
yeah.
I would
Yeah.
be Jake for a day.
I would probably be Adam for a day. And Anna, what would you
I'll
be?
take
I'll
that.
be Zach for this.
You will have to go to the bathroom 20 minutes every day.
That's a true story.
That's what it is.
They have lots of things.
Alright, next question.
How does the new album compare to old? How would you compare it?
Well, it's newer. I think this one has a much. What's that?
You're gonna critique your own here.
I guess, yeah, I feel like this album, Little Acorn, has a much more coherent feeling from beginning to end. All of the songs kind of make sense lined together, very quiet, and about similar subjects in a lot of ways. Whereas the other one was just sort of a collection of the songs that were written at the time. What do you guys think?
I think that the album is it doesn't really represent what we are doing right now. I think it's very good. It represents what we did about 7 or 8 months ago, and it's we've grown, so it doesn't really show what we are now.
It's also, with this band, in particular, it's a bit different, I think, because we haven't been this 4-piece band until about 3 weeks ago. These guys, we've all played on all the songs of the records in varying capacities, but Anna played bass on the new record, and now she plays guitar, and Adam played bass on the old record, and
And I played bass on the new record.
yeah, and now there's just a bunch of what how we play now is not something that's ever actually been represented on a record.
Plus, we've been playing for a month and a half, and 2 or 3 weeks into it, everyone got really good at what they were doing.
Yeah.
So we're way better than we were a month and a half ago, and we know these songs better. So yeah.
Got 2 more to go. Any advice to aspiring musicians?
Practice.
Yeah.
Practice.
Um,
Yeah, just keep at it. Don't let don't get disheartened about how you are at the time. You can keep
Listen to more than just music. Listen to your friends talk. Listen to like people walking around. Like the least you should be listening to is music because it's so obvious.
I don't know. If you're starting out, though, I think that's
I mean,
the place
music.
to
When you
start.
listen to music, but like if you're more aware of things that are going on around you, like movies and like talk shows or like just anything around you is more useful.
For songwriting, listen with intention. Like, I think that's a very different thing than instrumental playing, where you like make your voice and attitude come out through this kind of medium. But writing a song, in order to do that, you have to like think about how a song is built, and you want to listen to symphonies, listen to rock bands, listen to folk singers, listen to political speeches, listen to radio broadcasts, and see like the rhythm of how things move together, how
Listen to
different
people like
parts are
moving
put together.
cars around. Listen to
Yeah.
race car drives. Listen to like talk shows.
Listen to Zach.
No, listen to everything you can listen to. There's no cap on what you can like hear with your ears because it's all important.
I think that's kind of interesting. I think about how things sound more than think about sort of the need to like express yourself immediately through some song or through some like set of words, and to think about sort of like sound as a totality. I mean, because if it's something that you're doing, then it will have your expression in it. But I think a lot of people sort of put the expression before the way things sound, and then
They already thought about the expression before they got to
it becomes
express
very
it.
generic.
Yeah, the song that really fully represents your feelings on this one isolated subject is almost always the worst song you've written.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with what you thought about.
Yeah, it's got to have something to be gotten at by more than just you, like playing along.
Like I listen to a lot of like
Yeah,
I listen to like if I go to a museum, I'll record a lot of the stuff that I like just is going on in the museum because people are walking around and they're like paying attention and they're moving around and shuffling around in terms of like rhythm that they don't know about. So like they're sitting down, they're standing up, they're like moving around, and it has a lot to do with people's like rhythm that they in their heart that they don't recognize. And it's more important to something they're like trying to get out of themselves. It has nothing to do with you.
Very cool. Very awesome. All right, last question. For those people that are watching this, are going to watch this. If you could tell them one artist or one album that they must go out right now and purchase or listen to.
Little Acorn.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously everything by Kissing Club. I think that shit is brilliant.
Yeah, most important music of the decade.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's down.
Is that
It's only like
is that
1 year
everyone's
for the
real
decade,
answer though?
Come on.
I mean,
Yeah,
really
it's
It's just
okay.
so like it's so
It's so
didactic to tell people that they should go out and buy
But they should.
some particular album.
You could say anything, like you don't have to say in a particular album. You could say anything.
Say an artist.
To go buy anything, like you could go buy a book that is like really influential. Or anything. Yeah, the Kiss
I
Club,
guess,
like,
I mean, aside from us, John Fahey doesn't get nearly enough love. Check out Death Chance Breakdowns and Military Waltzes and Red Cross, because he's awesome and he's dead, and not enough people like John Fahey.
I would say to go check out an artist. He's probably one of my favorite artists. His name is Tim Hawkinson. He's a sculptural artist. He does a lot of things that have to do with mortality and death. And there's a lot of musical elements, so it's relevant towards anyone that has anything that had 2 ears. It's relevant. Yeah.
I would say go buy this really expensive collection called Goodbye Babylon. These guys who run this label called Dust to Digital. They went around and they compiled a bunch of early gospel recordings, like 6 discs worth of early gospel recordings, and the recordings are often sort of odd and like have really strange fidelity to them. But one of the discs is just like a bunch of sermons, and then I think 5 other discs are just really cool old gospel music, and I was listening to that a lot before I came on tour.
Great.
So check that out.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, I want to check that out.
And I was like, yeah,
It's cool. It's really
got
cool.
nothing on
I
that.
should have brought it.
I'm trying to think about something that I've been listening to on repeat, or like successfully dragged from like computers to iPods that have died, or like something that's trailed with me. No, it's hard. There's a guy named Fionn Regan. He's like a singer-songwriter from Britain, and I like him a lot. That's one album that I like. I'm trying to think about what's on my computer that I just will always have. That's one. So much good music. I would say Andrew Bird as well. Just because it's in my head.
That's pretty good. I always listen to him.
He's probably one of my favorite influences as well.
Yeah, I don't even play violin, but like you get a lot listening to him play violin.
Oh, anything he plays, like
He plays everything. Yeah.
brilliant. Yeah, I'll leave it there. I think
I like Yet Cut Breath a lot too.
Okay.
I think that girl's been writing some really good new songs. So
she's been very lucky to
she doesn't
write
get nearly
for me.
the publicity that she ought to.
I like this band called White Mansions. They're pretty good.
I've heard really good
They're
things
awesome.
about White
Yeah.
Mountains too.
They're pretty
Do
weird.
a
Check them
killer
out.
cover of Hey Hey My My.
You should look them up on YouTube. White Mansions.
All right, awesome. Well, that's all we have for you guys. We thank you very much again for taking your time today to sit with us and do this interview. And you guys all wait. I have to ask, favorite beer? Like,
Of mass market beers, I would say Sierra Nevada.
I would say Hope Garden.
I like so many beers. I like Anchor Steam.
That's a good one. I like it.
I'm changing mine to a Vita.
That
Oh,
was
yeah,
good.
You
good
can't
beer.
change it once.
I changed it.
It's already
Sorry.
out there in the ether.
Too bad.
There was this beer that we had when we were touring last winter and previously as well in Ohio.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's this beer that's brewed inside old whiskey barrels. It's Kentucky
What the
something.
hell is that
Oh.
called?
And
Brian's
it's
parents
so
run that brewery,
sounds really
Oh,
right?
that's Dogfish Head or
Yeah.
Dogfish Ale or something.
But
this
it
is
tastes
different.
whiskey in
they
the beer?
make that it's
What's
it's
that?
like
You taste whiskey?
no, it's brewed in like old wine casks.
Oh, that's
So
that.
it's
I
got-
was thinking of something else.
Is that not the same? It's
There's
a red
something
and
we
white.
had- oh.
Something red.
Oh.
And white. Is that one, or
I
is
think
it
that's
the other?
Brian's parents.
Okay, there's another one that's
The one that
yeah.
I'm thinking about, we had at the Lemon Grove or
Yeah,
whatever, and
that-
it was like the Kentucky.
That bar,
something.
they have a bunch of good beer there at the Lemon Grove in Youngstown, Ohio.
Yeah. Oh my god. But I completely forgot about it the first time we were there, and then I
Yeah.
came back and I was like, "This is the place with the beer!" And I got so excited. So I'd probably say that one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
Well, cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks for
Thank you
having
very
us.
Thank you.